Mental strength is not formed in moments of applause or recognition. It is built quietly, in places where no one is watching and no one is encouraging you. It grows in silence, during early mornings, long nights, and private decisions that never appear on the surface of your life. This audiobook is not about motivation that fades. It is about discipline that stays. It explores how true strength develops when you stop explaining yourself, stop seeking approval, and stop depending on external validation. Silence becomes the training ground where focus sharpens, emotions stabilize, and self-control becomes reliable. Most people believe strength is loud. They associate it with confidence displayed, success announced, and effort seen by others. In reality, the strongest individuals move quietly. They think deeply. They act deliberately. Their power comes from internal order, not external noise. Mental strength is built in silence, guides you through the inner processes that create this kind of stability. It examines how solitude builds clarity, how restraint builds authority, and how consistency builds identity. You will learn why calm minds outperform reactive ones, why patience is a competitive advantage, and why silence is not weakness but structure. This audiobook speaks to those who are tired of chasing motivation and ready to build standard. It is for listeners who want control over their thoughts, emotions, and decisions without needing recognition. Each chapter reinforces one truth: mental strength is not a mood, it is a system. If you are ready to stop reacting and start leading yourself, this journey begins here. No hype, no shortcuts, only quiet discipline, repeated choices, and internal command. You will not be asked to change overnight. You will be trained to become steady, focused under pressure, composed in uncertainty, and confident without display. This is not a performance. This is preparation. This is where strength is built. In silence. Chapter 1: The Quiet Beginning. Every transformation begins invisibly, before results appear, before progress is noticed, before anyone believes in you. Everything starts in silence. This is where you are now. Not at the finish line, not in the spotlight, at the beginning, the quiet beginning. Silence is not empty, silence is full. It is full of intention, full of direction, full of strength forming beneath the surface. Most people misunderstand this stage. They think nothing is happening. They think progress must be loud to be real. They are wrong. Look closely. The strongest structures are built underground first. The deepest roots grow where no one looks. What lasts is never rushed. What lasts is never announced. Right now, the world rewards noise. Constant updates, constant opinions, constant performance. Everyone is speaking. Everyone is proving. Everyone is reacting. And in all that noise, focus is lost. Strength is diluted. Direction disappears. You step away from that here. Not because you are afraid, because you are precise. Silence is alignment. It removes distraction. It clears the signal. It allows you to hear what matters. Stand still. When you stop reacting, you start observing. When you stop speaking, you start understanding. When you stop chasing validation, you start building self-trust. This is the first shift. Small, internal, powerful. Most people never make it here. They escape discomfort by staying busy. They avoid stillness because stillness reveals truth. But you stayed, and staying changes everything. In silence, you begin to notice patterns. Your habits, your excuses, your strengths, your gaps. Not with judgment, with clarity. Clarity is strength. You start to see how much energy was wasted explaining yourself, proving yourself, comparing yourself. You let that go. You no longer need permission to begin. You no longer need approval to move. You no longer need noise to feel important. You choose substance over appearance, direction over distraction, depth over attention. This is where identity begins to shift. Listen inward. There is a quieter voice beneath the chaos. It has always been there. Patient, calm, honest. It does not shout. It does not rush. It does not beg. It tells you the truth about who you are capable of becoming. It tells you what must change. It tells you what must be built. Most people ignore it. You don't. You listen. You realize that confidence is not loud. It is steady. Discipline is not dramatic. It is consistent. Strength is not aggressive. It is controlled. Silence teaches control. You stop leaking energy into reactions. You stop explaining plans that are not finished. You stop defending choices that are not up for debate. you begin to protect your focus. And focus compounds. At first, nothing looks different from the outside, but everything feels different on the inside. Your posture changes, your pace slows, your decisions sharpen. You are no longer rushing to be seen. You are preparing to be effective. Is where real confidence starts to grow. Not confidence based on praise, confidence based on evidence. Each quiet action becomes proof. Each kept promise becomes reinforcement. Each disciplined moment strengthens your identity. You start trusting yourself, and self-trust is unbreakable. The illusion of loud success fades. You see it clearly now. Most noise is insecurity disguised as confidence. Most performance is fear disguised as ambition. You do not need to perform. You need to build. Silence allows you to separate desire from impulse, purpose from pressure, vision from distraction. You stop asking, "How do I look?" You start asking, "Who am I becoming?" That question changes everything. Stand still again. Feel the calm settle. Not weakness, stability. From this place, you move differently. You speak less but with intention. You act less but with precision. You commit fully without needing witnesses. This is not isolation. This is incubation. Great things require time without interference. They require space to form. They require protection from premature exposure. You are protecting your future self now. Noise would rush you. Silence allows you to mature. You begin to understand that not everyone deserves access to your process. Some people only understand results. That is fine. You do not need to be understood right now. You need to be aligned. Alignment brings calm. Calm brings clarity. Clarity brings power. This is the quiet beginning. No applause, no announcement, no validation. Just you, your intention, your discipline. Begin. You take the first step without drama, without explanation, without delay, and something locks in. A decision deeper than motivation. A commitment stronger than emotion. You are no longer waiting to feel ready. You are acting because you decided. This is how leaders are formed. Not in noise, not in reaction. In silence, hold this moment. Let it anchor. You are not late. You are not behind. You are exactly where real change starts. Say it internally. Let it settle. I decide who I become. And with that decision, the journey truly begins. Chapter 2: Separation from the crowd. You cannot rise while blending in. Elevation requires distance. Clarity requires space. This is where the path narrows. Up to now, you have learned to be still, to listen inward, to build quietly. Now comes the next shift. More uncomfortable, more defining. Separation, not rejection, not superiority. Separation. You begin to see it clearly. The crowd moves fast but not forward. The crowd is loud but not strong. The crowd is busy but not disciplined. And for the first time, you feel it. The quiet tension of no longer fitting in. This is not loss. This is alignment. Step back. When you step back, you see patterns you never noticed before. Reactions repeated daily. Opinions recycled endlessly. Beliefs inherited, not examined. Most people do not choose their thinking. They borrow it. They absorb it. They repeat it. You stop doing that here. You realize how much of what you believed was never yours. Goals shaped by comparison. Standards shaped by approval. Fears shaped by other people's limits. Separation begins internally. Before you walk alone physically, you walk alone mentally. You stop letting noise decide your direction. You stop letting consensus define truth. You stop letting comfort masquerade as safety. This is where psychological independence is born. It feels strange at first. The absence of constant agreement. The silence after you stop explaining yourself. The pause where validation used to live. Your nervous system resists. Your old habits whisper. Your conditioning pulls you back. This is normal. You are breaking patterns that once kept you accepted. Accepted but not fulfilled. Included but not evolving. Observe. Watch how people react when you stop reacting. Watch how dynamics change when you no longer seek permission. Watch how energy shifts when you are no longer available for everything. Some connections fade. Some conversations end. Some invitations stop coming. Not because you failed, because you changed frequency. You begin to understand a hard truth. Growth requires friction, and friction often means distance. You are not meant to carry everyone with. This does not make you cold. It makes you clear. Silence becomes a filter now. It removes weak influences. It exposes borrowed beliefs. It dissolves unearned opinion. You stop giving weight to voices that have no authority over your future. You stop absorbing doubt disguised as concern. You stop mistaking familiarity for loyalty. Comfort starts to lose its grip. Comfort says, stay where you are. Comfort says, do not disrupt the pattern. Comfort says, everyone does it this way. Growth says, choose differently. Choose differently even when it feels lonely. Choose differently even when it feels uncertain. Choose differently even when no one claps. This is the test. Most people turn back here. They feel the gap forming and rush to close it. They dilute themselves to stay included. They shrink to stay comfortable. You do not. You tolerate the distance. You respect the process. You trust the direction. Walking alone does not mean walking bitter. It means walking focused. There is no resentment here, no anger, no need to prove. You do not judge the crowd. You simply step away because you see what staying costs. Staying costs clarity. Staying costs discipline. Staying costs potential. You choose the harder path because it leads somewhere real. Pause. Feel the weight of that choice. Not heavy, grounded. When you are no longer pulled by every opinion, your mind quiets. When you are no longer chasing belonging, your energy stabilizes. When you are no longer trying to fit in, your identity strengthens. You start thinking long-term. You start acting intentionally. You start choosing depth over distraction. This is where leadership begins to form. Not leadership over others, leadership over yourself. You decide what enters your mind. You decide what deserves your time. You decide what aligns with your standard. This is power. Observe again. Notice how much noise was never necessary. Notice how many conversations led nowhere. Notice how often urgency was manufactured. You are no longer pulled by urgency. You move by purpose. That shift alone changes everything. Your pace slows. Your focus sharpens. Your decisions become quieter and stronger. You are not rushing to be seen. You are preparing to be undeniable. The discomfort fades as something else replaces it. Certainty. Certainty does not need agreement. Certainty does not need witnesses. Certainty stands on its own. You begin to feel it in your posture, in your tone, in your silence. People may not understand you now. That is not your problem. You are not here to be understood. You are here to be effective. Choose differently. Choose discipline over approval. Choose clarity over comfort. Choose direction over distraction. Each time you choose differently, the gap widens. And in that gap, strength grows. You are no longer shaped by proximity. You are shaped by principle. This is not isolation. This is refinement. You are refining your environment, your inputs, your standards, and refinement requires separation. The crowd will keep moving, talking, reacting. You will keep building, quietly, deliberately, relentlessly. You are not missing out. You are narrowing in. Narrow focus creates force. Force creates momentum. Momentum creates results. Results will speak later. Silence is enough now. Stand still for a moment. Acknowledge the shift that has already happened. You are less reactive, less influenced, less available for nonsense, more grounded, more intentional, more precise. This is growth. Walking alone sharpens awareness. It teaches you to rely on your own judgment. It teaches you to self-correct. It teaches you to lead internally. And once internal leadership is formed, external leadership follows naturally. No announcement, no performance, just presence. The path ahead is quieter, stronger, more demanding, and you are built for it. Say it internally. Let it land. I rise, not above others, above old limits, above borrowed thinking, above who you used to be. The crowd fades behind you now, not as rejection, as release. And ahead the work deepens. Chapter 3. Discipline without applause. What you do unseen defines who you become. Not what you say, not what you promise, not what you announce. What you do when no one is watching shapes your future. This is where discipline becomes real. Discipline is not intensity. It is not excitement. It is not performance. Discipline is respect. Respect for your goals. Respect for your time. Respect for the person you are becoming. Most people wait for motivation. They wait to feel ready. They wait to be inspired. You do not. You act because you decided. Show up. Showing up quietly is harder than showing up loudly. There is no applause, no recognition, no reassurance that you are doing enough. Only effort, only repetition, Only commitment. This is where most people drift away. They need feedback to continue. They need encouragement to stay consistent. They need someone to notice. You learn to move without that. You understand that the absence of applause is not failure. It is freedom. When no one is watching, you are free to build correctly, free to make mistakes, free to adjust, free to grow without pressure. Private victories begin here. A completed task no one saw, a habit kept without reward, a promise honored without witnesses. These moments matter more than any public win. They shape identity. Identity is not built in big moments. It is built in repetition. Every time you show up, you cast a vote for who you are becoming. Every time you follow through, you strengthen trust with yourself. Every time you choose discipline over comfort, you reinforce direction. This is not dramatic. It is powerful. Do the work. The work is often simple, and that is why it is avoided. Consistency does not feel exciting. Routine does not feel heroic. Structure does not feel impressive. But consistency compounds. Small actions repeated daily create unstoppable momentum. Not overnight, not instantly, quietly, you begin to measure progress internally. Not by praise, not by attention, not by comparison. You measure progress by alignment, by effort given, by standards maintained. You stop asking, did anyone notice? You start asking, did I keep my word? That question sharpens you. Delayed gratification becomes your advantage. You stop chasing immediate rewards. You stop needing instant feedback. You stop quitting when results are slow. You understand that what you are building requires time, and time requires patience. Patience is not passive. It is disciplined waiting. While others jump between excitement and burnout, you stay steady. While others start loudly and fade quickly, you continue quietly. While others seek validation, you seek progress. No announcements. Announcing creates pressure before structure. Explaining drains energy before results. Talking satisfies the ego before the work is done. You protect your process. You let silence guard your momentum. You let discipline speak later. This does not make you secretive. It makes you strategic. You begin to enjoy the quiet proof, the inner confirmation that you are doing what must be done. The calm confidence that comes from consistency. Confidence built this way does not shake, because it is earned. There are days when motivation disappears. You show up anyway. There are days when progress feels invisible. You continue anyway. There are days when quitting would be easy. You stay anyway. This is strength. You stop negotiating with yourself. You stop making excuses sound reasonable. You stop postponing what matters. You act because action is who you are now. Each repetition deepens the identity shift. You are no longer someone who tries. You are someone who does. This changes how you carry yourself, your posture, your pace, your presence. Others may not see the work yet. That is fine. You are not building for applause. You are building for results. Private discipline creates public inevitability. Every unseen hour adds weight. Every uncelebrated effort adds force. Every quiet decision adds direction. This is how leaders are formed, not in moments of recognition, but in seasons of obscurity. You learn to trust the process. You learn to trust yourself. You learn to trust repetition. Consistency over intensity. Intensity burns fast. Consistency builds deep. You no longer need emotional highs to move forward. You move forward because it is scheduled, because it is required, because it aligns. This is maturity. You stop romanticizing struggle. You stop dramatizing effort. You simply execute. Execution becomes calm, reliable, precise, and something powerful happens. Your self-respect grows. You respect yourself because you follow through. You respect yourself because you keep promises. You respect yourself because you do not disappear when things get boring. Self-respect creates confidence. Confidence creates clarity. Clarity creates momentum. You are no longer dependent on mood. You are no longer controlled by feeling. You are led by decision. This is inner leadership. Pause. Feel the stability of that. There is no rush here, no panic, no need to prove, just steady movement in the right direction. You begin to realize something important. Most people fail not because they are incapable, but because they cannot stay consistent without reward. You can. That is your edge. While others need applause, you need alignment. While others chase excitement, you build endurance. While others perform, you prepare. Preparation always wins. The work continues quietly, day after day, choice after choice, and slowly, almost imperceptibly, you change. Your standards rise. Your tolerance for excuses drops. Your focus sharpens. You are becoming reliable to yourself. That reliability becomes power. Power that does not announce itself. Power that does not demand attention. Power that is felt when it is needed. You are not in a hurry. You are building something that lasts. No announcements. No shortcuts. No performance. Just discipline. Just respect. Just progress. Say it internally. Let it reinforce. I am becoming stronger every day. Not because it is said, but because it is done. And as you continue, quietly and consistently, the gap widens between who you were and who you are becoming. The work deepens now. The standards tighten. The demands increase. And you are ready for that, because discipline without applause has already changed you. Chapter 4: The War with the Old Self. Your only real opponent is who you used to be. Not other people, not circumstances, not timing. The real battle has always been internal. Up to this point, you have built stillness. You have separated. You have learned discipline without applause. Now the resistance shows its true face. This is where friction appears, because growth is not smooth. It presses, it challenges, it exposes. The old version of you does not disappear quietly. It argues, it negotiates, it disguises itself as reason. This is the war. Face it. The old self knows your patterns. It knows when you hesitate. It knows when you seek comfort. It knows when emotions overrule discipline. It whispers familiar language. You deserve rest. Just this once. Tomorrow will be better. Not loudly, persuasively. The old self does not attack directly. It delays. It softens edges. It lowers standards slowly. You begin to recognize this voice. It is not evil. It is outdated. This is an important distinction. You are not fighting yourself. You are outgrowing a version that kept you safe, not strong. Safety once mattered. Now strength matters more. Internal conflict is not a sign of failure. It is proof of transition. Two identities cannot coexist peacefully forever. One must lead. One must end. Observe the moments when resistance appears. Right before effort. Right before discipline. Right before growth. The discomfort rises. The urge to escape appears. The body looks for relief. This is where emotional regulation becomes power. Emotion is information, not instruction. Feeling tired does not mean stopping. Feeling uncomfortable does not mean danger. Feeling resistance does not mean wrong direction. You learn to pause inside the feeling, not suppress it, not obey it. Pause. This pause creates space, and space creates choice. Most people skip this moment. They react immediately. They seek relief instantly. They return to what feels familiar. You do not. You hold the tension. Holding tension is strength. In this space, you see the pattern clearly. Old habits reaching for control. Old excuses asking for permission. Old comfort trying to reclaim authority. You acknowledge it, and then you choose. Choose long-term strength. Long-term strength does not negotiate with short-term comfort. It does not bargain with emotions. It does not wait for the feeling to pass. It acts. This is where self-negotiation ends. Negotiation weakens direction. Every compromise with the old self creates delay. Every exception reinforces the past. You stop making deals with yourself that you do not intend to honor. You become exact. Exactness is not harsh. It is clear. Clear standards remove confusion. Clear decisions remove debate. When the old self asks for relief, you answer with structure. When it asks for escape, you respond with discipline. When it asks for comfort, you choose progress. This is not punishment. It is leadership. You are leading yourself now. And leadership requires authority. Authority is established through consistency. Not once, not occasionally, repeatedly. Each time you choose strength, the old identity weakens. Each time you hold the line, the new identity gains ground. This is the war of repetition. Some days the old self feels loud. Some days it feels convincing. Some days it feels logical. That does not make it correct. You learn to separate truth from familiarity. Familiarity feels safe because it is known. But known does not mean right. You are not here to remain known. You are here to evolve. Evolution requires friction. Now the intensity rises. This is where many turn back. Not because they are incapable, but because they misunderstand resistance. They think resistance means stop. It means continue. Transformation peak begins here. Keep going. Do not stop. Hold the line. Breathe. Focus. Stay exact. You feel the pressure build. The urge to quit intensifies. The desire for relief sharpens. This is the edge. Most lives are decided at this edge. One step forward ends an old pattern. One step back reinforces it. Move forward. Short lines. Clear commands. Stand firm. No negotiation. No retreat. The old self loses power when it is ignored. Not argued with. Not debated. Ignored. You do not need to convince yourself. You need to act. Action ends argument. The moment you move, the tension breaks. Not instantly, but decisively. Release. Feel the relief that comes after obedience to your higher standard. Not comfort. Relief. Relief comes from alignment. Comfort comes from avoidance. You choose alignment. Each battle won strengthens your internal authority. You trust yourself more. You hesitate less. You decide faster. This is momentum. The war does not end in one moment. It ends through repeated victories. Day by day, choice by choice, the old self becomes quieter, less convincing, less relevant. You do not destroy it. You outgrow it. Outgrowing is cleaner than fighting. It leaves no resentment, only distance. You notice something shift. The excuses still appear but weaker. The emotional reactions still rise but shorter. The comfort-seeking urges still exist, but no longer control. You have changed. You are becoming someone who does not need motivation to act, someone who does not need perfect conditions, someone who does not wait for permission. This is strength. Strength is not aggression. It is command. Command over your time. Command over your attention. Command over your reactions. You stop identifying with every emotion. You stop obeying every impulse. You stop letting the past vote on the future. This is freedom. The war with the old self creates space for the new self to lead. Leadership is not loud. It is firm. You carry that firmness now. The path ahead remains demanding, but it no longer feels chaotic. You know what to do, and more importantly, you do it. Face it. You faced it. End it. You ended negotiation. Move forward. You moved. Let that settle. This is not a temporary phase. This is a shift in identity. You are no longer someone who reacts. You are someone who responds. No drama. No performance, just control. Say it internally. Anchor it. I choose strength, not once, not occasionally, consistently. And with that choice, the old self falls further behind, not defeated by force, but replaced by discipline. The next phase requires even more precision, more endurance, more self-command, and you are ready for it because you won the war that most never fight. Chapter 5: Silence as a Weapon. Silence sharpens power. Not the silence of fear, the silence of control. At this stage, silence is no longer just protection. It becomes strategy. You have learned to build quietly. You have separated. You have disciplined yourself without applause. You have faced the old self and won ground. Now silence changes function. It becomes a weapon. Most people speak to release pressure. They explain to feel safe. They react to feel heard. You do none of that now. Pause. Pausing is not hesitation. It is command. When you pause, you choose timing. When you pause, you conserve energy. When you pause, you stay ahead. The world moves fast, loud, and emotionally. Quick reactions are rewarded socially. Calm restraint is misunderstood. That misunderstanding is your advantage. You no longer speak to fill space. You no longer react to fill silence. You no longer explain to reduce discomfort. You let silence do the work. Emotional restraint is power. When emotions rise, you do not suppress them. You regulate them. You feel fully, and you decide deliberately. This distinction changes everything. Emotion without control creates noise. Emotion with control creates presence. You learn to hold your expression steady, your tone measured, your body relaxed. Others reveal themselves in the noise. You remain still. This stillness unsettles people who rely on reaction. It removes leverage. It removes predictability. You are no longer easy to read, not because you hide, because you are grounded. Silence forces others to project, to assume, to fill gaps. You watch, hold. Holding silence is not passive. It requires strength. The urge to clarify appears. The urge to defend rises. The urge to correct pushes forward. You resist it. You ask yourself one question: Does speaking serve the mission? If not, you remain silent. Strategic patience develops here. Patience is not waiting with action. It is choosing the right moment. You stop rushing outcomes. You stop forcing understanding. You stop pushing for recognition. You allow time to reveal truth. Truth does not need help. It surfaces naturally. When you act precisely, explanation becomes unnecessary. Actions speak in silence. You focus on execution, on consistency, on alignment. Results accumulate quietly. Others may doubt. They may question. They may underestimate. That is fine. Underestimation is a gift. It lowers resistance. It removes interference. It creates space. You move without friction. Psychological dominance is calm. Dominance does not require volume. It requires certainty. Certainty is felt, not announced. When you speak less, your words carry weight. When you act more, your presence carries authority. You begin to notice the shift. Conversations change. Dynamics adjust. Reactions soften. People lean in when you speak. They pause when you pause. They listen when you decide. This is influence, not forced, not demanded, earned. You no longer rush to be understood. You allow understanding to arrive later. Silence removes unnecessary conflict. It disarms emotional escalation. It keeps you centered. You choose when to engage. You choose when to respond. You choose when to act. This choice is power. Pause again. Feel the steadiness. This calm is not emptiness. It is readiness. When pressure arrives, you do not flinch. When tension rises, you do not rush. When chaos spreads, you slow down. Slowness under pressure is control. Others speed up and make mistakes. You slow down and see clearly. This is precision. Precision is born from restraint. You act only when action matters. You speak only when words add value. Every unnecessary movement is removed. Efficiency increases. Focus sharpens. Energy is conserved. You stop explaining your standard. You enforce them quietly. Boundaries are not debates. They are decisions. Silence makes boundaries firm. When someone crosses a line, you do not argue. You adjust access. You adjust availability. You adjust priority. No announcement, just consequence. This is leadership. Leadership is not loud correction. It is consistent structure. Structure creates respect. People learn quickly how to treat you, not by what you say, by what you tolerate. You tolerate less now, not from anger, from clarity. Silence teaches discipline. It trains you to sit with discomfort, to resist impulse, to trust timing. This training carries into every area of life. You respond, not react. You choose, not drift. You lead, not chase. Silence also reveals intention. When you stop speaking unnecessarily, you hear more. You notice subtlety. You detect shifts. You read environments accurately. You sense when to move and when to wait. This awareness compounds. You begin to feel untouchable emotionally, not because nothing affects you, but because nothing controls you. Control is calm. The mind settles. The body follows. You move through situations with composure. You exit conflicts without damage. You maintain dignity under pressure. This is psychological strength. Strength that does not announce itself. Strength that does not need validation. Strength that remains when attention fades. You are no longer pulled into unnecessary battles. You choose your engagements carefully. Silence keeps your aim clear. Every word you do not say preserves energy. Every reaction you do not give preserves position. Every explanation you withhold preserves authority. This is not manipulation. It is mastery. Mastery of self. The more you practice silence, the more natural it becomes. You stop feeling the need to fill space. You stop feeling exposed by quiet. Silence becomes home. From this place, action is clean. When you act, it is decisive. When you speak, it is exact. When you move, it is intentional. Others may still operate emotionally. You operate strategically. This difference widens outcomes. Over time, results speak for you. Consistency builds credibility. Credibility builds influence. Influence without noise lasts. Pause. Notice the absence of urgency. Notice the stability. Notice the control. This is not detachment. This is presence. Presence that commands without effort. You do not need to be louder. You need to be steadier. Steadiness intimidates chaos. When challenged, you do not rush to respond. You listen. You evaluate. You decide. This delay is not weakness. It is assessment. Assessment prevents mistakes. Mistakes drain power. You protect your power now. Silence sharpens it. You allow others to reveal themselves first. You gather information without exposure. You maintain advantage. This is strategic patience. Patience that moves you forward quietly. You are not passive. You are deliberate. Deliberate action beats emotional reaction every time. The calm you carry is contagious. Others slow down around you. Situations de-escalate. You become the stable point in the room. That stability creates leadership naturally. No title required. No announcement needed. People feel safe around control. They trust composure. You embody both. Act precisely. Precision means fewer moves, better timing, cleaner outcomes. You stop wasting effort. You stop correcting errors created by haste. You stop repairing damage caused by reaction. Life becomes simpler, not easier, clearer. Clarity is a form of power. From clarity, confidence grows. From confidence, influence follows. From influence, results multiply. Silence supports all of it. You understand now. Silence is not absence. It is leverage. You pause when others rush. You hold when others panic. You act when others hesitate. This pattern compounds. Each calm response builds reputation. Each measured decision builds trust. Each precise action builds authority. You are no longer rushed by expectation. You are guided by intention. The weapon is sharpened, not for attack, for control. Control of yourself. Control of timing. Control of direction. This control creates freedom. Freedom from emotional turbulence. Freedom from unnecessary conflict. Freedom from proving. You move forward quietly, confidently, decisively. Say it internally. Anchor it. I am in control. Not because the world is calm, but because you are. And as you carry this silence forward, the next phase demands even greater precision. Less reaction, more intention. The work continues. Chapter 6. Building Inner Authority. Leadership begins internally. Before influence, before position, before recognition. It begins with how you command yourself. Up to now, you have learned restraint. You have learned discipline. You have learned silence as strength. Now those elements merge into something deeper. Authority, not authority over others. Authority over your own mind, actions, and standards. This is where you stop waiting to be led. This is where you stop negotiating direction. This is where you take full ownership. Lead yourself. Self-leadership is quiet. It does not announce itself. It does not seek permission. It is visible only through consistency. You begin to notice a shift. Your decisions take less time. Your hesitation shortens. Your follow-through strengthens. This is not confidence from ego. It is confidence from clarity. You know what you expect from yourself, and you enforce it. Internal standards replace external pressure. You no longer move because someone is watching. You move because your standards demand it. Standards simplify life. They remove debate. They remove emotional fluctuation. They remove confusion. When standards are clear, decisions become clean. You stop asking, "What do I feel like doing?" You ask, "What is required?" Required actions do not argue. They execute. This is discipline becoming identity. You are no longer someone who practices discipline. You are someone who operates from it. This distinction matters. Practice can stop. Identity does not. You do not motivate yourself daily, and you rely on structure. You rely on commitment. You rely on internal authority. Authority creates stability. You feel it in your posture, in your breathing, in your pace. You no longer rush to prove competence. You demonstrate it through action. Responsibility becomes natural. You stop blaming circumstances. You stop assigning fault. You stop explaining outcomes away. Responsibility without blame is power. Blame keeps you reactive. Responsibility keeps you in control. When something fails, you adjust. When something works, you reinforce. No drama, no ego, no avoidance. This calm response builds trust with yourself. Trust deepens authority. You trust yourself because you act in alignment. You trust yourself because you correct quickly. You trust yourself because you do not abandon standards under pressure. This trust changes how you move through challenges. Challenges no longer feel personal. They feel procedural. You assess. You decide. You act. Emotion still exists. It simply no longer leads. Emotional regulation becomes automatic. You feel fully. You respond selectively. This is leadership behavior. Leaders do not eliminate emotion. They master response. You notice that your reactions soften. Your words shorten. Your movements become intentional. Calm confidence emerges. Calm confidence does not announce. It occupies space quietly. Others sense it, not because you demand respect, because you embody reliability. Reliability is authority. You do what you say. You finish what you start. You maintain standards even when inconvenient. This consistency builds internal credibility. Internal credibility precedes external influence. People trust leaders who trust themselves. And self-trust is built here. Stay exact. Exactness is precision applied to behavior. It means fewer mistakes, fewer excuses, fewer wasted movements. You stop overcommitting. You stop underdelivering. You stop tolerating misalignment. Exactness removes excess. You choose quality over volume, depth over speed, consistency over intensity. This is maturity. You stop needing constant stimulation. You stop chasing urgency. You stop reacting to pressure. Pressure becomes information, not command. You process pressure calmly. You extract what matters. You discard what doesn't. This ability strengthens leadership capacity. You are no longer pulled by urgency. You are guided by principle. Principle stabilizes action. You decide once, then execute repeatedly. This reduces mental fatigue. This increases clarity. This preserves energy. Energy conserved becomes focus. Focus sharpens execution. Execution builds results. Results reinforce authority. This cycle compounds. Stand firm. Standing firm does not mean stubborn. It means anchored. Anchored in standards. Anchored in direction. Anchored in responsibility. You adjust tactics without abandoning principle. You adapt strategies without compromising value. This flexibility within firmness defines strong leadership. You are steady, not rigid. Responsive, not reactive. Your presence changes environment. Rooms feel calmer when you enter. Conversations slow. Chaos loses momentum. Not because you dominate, because you stabilize. Stability is leadership. You do not need to be the loudest voice. You do not need to be the fastest response. You need to be the most reliable. Reliability builds confidence in others. Confidence creates followership. Followership emerges naturally. No demand required. You begin to understand something deeply. Authority is not taken. It is granted. And it is granted to those who govern themselves first. You govern your habits, your time, your attention. You say no without guilt. You say yes without hesitation. Decisions become simple. Simple does not mean easy. It means clear. Clear direction eliminates internal conflict. Internal conflict drains power. You remove it through decisiveness. Decisiveness is not haste. It is commitment. Once decided, you move forward fully. No second guessing. No emotional revisiting. No backward glances. This forward momentum strengthens resolve. Resolve becomes visible. Others sense when you are resolved. They feel it in your tone. They see it in your actions. This is influence without effort. You are not persuading. You are embodying. Embodiment is the highest form of leadership. You do not explain discipline. You live it. You do not argue standards. You enforce them through consistency. You do not announce boundaries. You maintain them quietly. Boundaries without drama are respected. Drama weakens authority. Calm reinforces it. You choose calm consistently. This choice compounds daily. You wake up with intention. You structure your time. You execute priorities. Not perfectly, precisely. Perfection chases illusion. Precision builds results. You correct quickly. You move on. No shame. No delay. This emotional neutrality strengthens endurance. Endurance allows longevity. Longevity creates impact. Leadership is not a moment. It is a sustained pattern. You are building that pattern now. Internally, this internal leadership changes how you face uncertainty. Uncertainty no longer paralyses. It informs. You gather information. You decide. You act. No panic. No avoidance. You trust your ability to respond. This trust reduces fear. Fear loses control when authority is internal. You do not need certainty to move. You need commitment. Commitment anchors action. You commit to standards. You commit to effort. You commit to alignment. Alignment removes friction. You stop forcing outcomes. You focus on process. Process obeyed consistently produces outcome. This understanding calms the mind. Calm minds see clearly. Clarity improves leadership. You begin to feel grounded, regardless of environment. Pressure does not shake you. Change does not destabilize you. You adapt from a stable core. This stability is rare, and rarity creates value. People gravitate towards stability. They trust it. They follow it. You are becoming that point of stability, not because you seek followers, because you lead yourself. This self-leadership radiates outward naturally. You no longer chase confidence. Confidence arrives through competence. Competence is built quietly, day by day, decision by decision. You are not dramatic. You are dependable. Dependability builds authority. Authority builds influence. Influence creates results beyond effort. This is leadership matured. Pause. Feel the internal shift. No excitement, no rush, just certainty. Certainty does not shout. It settles. You settle into this identity now. You are no longer experimenting with discipline. You are expressing it. You are no longer seeking direction. You are creating it. You are no longer reacting to life. You are directing yourself through it. This is power. Power that does not need validation. Power that does not need explanation. Power that holds under pressure. Say it internally. Anchor it deeply. I lead myself, not occasionally, not when it feels easy, always. And as you carry this inner authority forward, the demands increase again. Precision tightens, endurance deepens, because the next phase tests consistency under pressure. And now you are built for it. Chapter 7. Endurance over emotion. Feelings pass. Strength remains. This is where the work separates completely. Not talent from effort. Not intelligence from ambition. But endurance from emotion. Up to now, you have learned to lead yourself. You have built inner authority. You have learned control, precision, and calm. Now you are asked to stay. Stay when emotion fades. Stay when motivation disappears. Stay when the work feels heavy and unrewarded. This is endurance. Endurance is not dramatic. It is not exciting. It is not visible. It is the quiet decision to continue. Most people are ruled by mood. They move when they feel good. They stop when they feel tired. They quit when enthusiasm drops. You learn to move independently of feeling. This is a major shift. You stop asking how you feel. You start acting on what you decided. Emotion becomes background noise. Commitment becomes the signal. You understand something now. Feelings are temporary. They rise. They fall. They pass. But strength once built stays. Staying steady under pressure is not natural. It is trained. Training begins with exposure. You expose yourself to discomfort without escape. You stay present when it would be easier to leave. You continue when there is no emotional reward. This is mental toughness. Mental toughness is not aggression. It is reliability under strain. You begin to notice the pattern. Pressure arrives. Emotion reacts. Old habits suggest stopping. And then there is a pause. In that pause you choose. You choose not to obey the feeling. You choose not to dramatize discomfort. You choose to continue. Continue. Continuing does not mean pushing recklessly. It means maintaining effort without collapse. You regulate pace. You manage energy. You stay exact. This steadiness frustrates chaos. Chaos feeds on reaction. You give it none. You understand now that motivation is unreliable. It comes and goes. It is influenced by sleep, environment, stress, and mood. Depending on motivation is depending on chance. You choose structure instead. Structure holds when emotion fails. You build systems that do not care how you feel. You follow routines that do not negotiate. You execute plans that were decided in clarity. This removes pressure from the moment. You do not need to decide again. You simply act. This is freedom. Freedom from emotional tyranny. Most people think freedom means doing what they want. Real freedom is doing what you committed to, regardless of feeling. That freedom creates power. You stop being surprised by difficulty. You expect it. Expectation changes response. When difficulty arrives, you are not offended. You are prepared. Pressure does not signal danger. It signals opportunity to strengthen endurance. You stay steady. Steadiness is not passive. It is active restraint. You restrain the impulse to quit. You restrain the urge to complain. You restrain the desire for relief. You choose forward motion instead. Even if slow. Even if quiet. Even if unseen. This consistency builds a different identity. You are no longer someone who reacts emotionally. You are someone who persists. Persistence compounds. Each time you continue, confidence grows. Not emotional confidence. Structural confidence. You trust your ability to stay. That trust changes everything. You stop fearing hard days. You stop fearing low energy. You stop fearing boredom. Because none of those stop you anymore. You have trained endurance. Endurance is built the same way strength is built. Through repetition under load. The load is pressure. The repetition is consistency. You stay. Some days are easy. Some days are heavy. You treat them the same. Equal effort. Equal discipline. Equal respect for the process. This neutrality is power. Neutrality prevents burnout. Burnout happens when emotion leads effort. When excitement spikes, effort spikes. When excitement crashes, effort collapses. You remove the spike. You keep effort stable. This stability allows longevity. Longevity creates results. Results that last. Now the pace increases. This is where many fail. Not at the beginning. Not in excitement. They fail in the middle. The middle is where emotion fades. The middle is where progress is slow. The middle is where results are invisible. You stay anyway. Transformation peak begins here. Short commands. Rapid pace. Do not stop. Keep going. Hold steady. Breathe. Focus. Continue. The urge to quit appears. The mind looks for exits. The body asks for relief. You do not argue. You move. Action quiets doubt. Each step forward reduces resistance. Each repetition weakens the quitting impulse. The pressure builds. This is the edge. You stay on the edge. Stay. Most people step back here. They call it balance. They call it self-care. They call it timing. You call it avoidance. You do not avoid. You regulate and continue. This distinction matters. Regulation preserves strength. Avoidance dissolves it. You regulate pace, not commitment. You adjust method, not direction. This flexibility within persistence is mastery. You push when required. You recover when necessary. You never abandon the line. Hold steady. The moment passes. It always does. The feeling that felt overwhelming fades. The urge that felt urgent weakens. The resistance that felt permanent dissolves. And you remain. This is relief. Not relief from stopping. Relief from staying aligned. Relief from proving to yourself that you can endure. This relief is deeper than comfort. Comfort numbs. Relief strengthens. Strength settles in quietly. You notice it later. In your calm response. In your steady effort. In your refusal to quit. You have changed. You are no longer emotionally reactive. You are emotionally resilient. Resilience is not the absence of feeling. It is the presence of control. You feel fatigue and continue. You feel doubt and continue. You feel discomfort and continue. This is leadership behavior. Leaders do not require ideal conditions. They operate in reality. Reality includes pressure. Reality includes monotony. Reality includes resistance. You are built for reality now. Your mind becomes trained. When emotion rises, it no longer surprises you. You acknowledge it. You proceed anyway. This creates distance between impulse and action. Distance creates choice. Choice creates power. You choose endurance. Endurance simplifies life. You stop overthinking. You stop negotiating. You stop searching for motivation. You rely on rhythm. Daily rhythm. Consistent effort. Unbroken commitment. This rhythm carries you forward when thinking would stall you. Thinking too much drains energy. Endurance preserves it. You become efficient. Efficient with time. Efficient with effort. Efficient with emotion. You no longer waste energy reacting internally. That energy is redirected into execution. Execution produces results. Results reinforce endurance. This cycle strengthens. You are no longer fragile under pressure. You are composed. Composure is a sign of strength. Others notice. Not because you announce it. Because you remain stable when others fluctuate. Stability attracts trust. Trust creates leadership presence. Presence does not require volume. It requires consistency. You become consistent. The work no longer feels heroic. It feels normal. This is important. When endurance becomes normal, quitting feels foreign. Your identity shifts again. You are not someone who pushes sometimes. You are someone who finishes. Finishers are calm. Finishers do not rush. Finishers do not panic. Finishers do not stop when it gets uncomfortable. They continue. Continue. There are moments when progress feels invisible. You trust the process. There are moments when effort feels heavy. You manage energy. There are moments when emotion screams. You listen, then move. This balance is mastery. You are no longer at war with feeling. You simply do not let it lead. Feeling becomes data, not command. This separation creates freedom. Freedom from mood. Freedom from inconsistency. Freedom from self-sabotage. You stay steady. Steadiness under pressure builds mental toughness faster than any burst of effort. Mental toughness is not loud confidence. It is quiet reliability. You are reliable to yourself now. That reliability creates self-respect. Self-respect fuels endurance. Endurance fuels completion. Completion fuels confidence. This chain strengthens daily. You notice that challenges no longer intimidate you. They register, but they do not stop you. Stopping is no longer your default. Continuing is. You have trained that response. Training always wins. The high-energy moment passes. The intensity settles. And you remain calm. This calm after pressure is growth. You are not exhausted by effort. You are stabilized by it. This is the difference between emotional effort and disciplined endurance. Emotional effort drains. Disciplined endurance builds. You choose building. Day after day. Step after step. You do not look for shortcuts. You do not look for exits. You look forward. Forward is simple. Forward is effort applied consistently. You are no longer impressed by intensity. You are impressed by reliability. Reliability creates long-term results. Long-term results create impact. Impact changes trajectory. This is how strength remains. Feelings pass. Strength stays. Say it internally. Anchor it deeply. I finish what I start. Not because it feels good. Not because it is easy. Because it is who you are now. And as endurance settles into your identity, the next phase tightens demands even further. Less emotion. More precision. The work continues. Chapter 8. The Power of Delayed Reward. Waiting builds power. Not the kind of waiting that drifts. Not hesitation. Not avoidance. This is intentional waiting. Structured patience. Purposeful restraint. You have learned endurance. You have learned to stay steady when emotion fades. Now you learn something rarer. You learn how to delay reward without losing direction. Most people want outcomes immediately. They want results. Now. Recognition now. Relief now. They trade the future for comfort. You do not. You understand something critical. Every meaningful result lives on the other side of waiting. Wait. Waiting is not passive. It is active discipline. While others consume, you accumulate. While others rush, you refine. While others demand payoff, you invest. This is a competitive advantage. Delayed gratification separates leaders from followers. Builders from performers. Those who last from those who peak early. You stop asking, "What do I get today?" You start asking, "What does this build over time?" That question reshapes behavior. You begin to see time differently. Not as something to fill, but as something to compound. Small disciplined actions, repeated without immediate reward, create exponential results. This is difficult for most people to accept, because the mind craves closure. It wants proof. It wants payoff. You train your mind to tolerate open loops. You work without seeing results. You improve without praise. You sacrifice without applause. And you stay calm doing it. Build. Building is slow by design. If results came quickly, they would be fragile. If rewards were immediate, discipline would be unnecessary. The delay is what strengthens you. You begin to understand that sacrifice is not loss. It is allocation. You are not giving things up. You are redirecting energy. Time redirected. Attention redirected. Effort redirected. Sacrifice with purpose feels different. It does not feel like deprivation. It feels like alignment. You choose what matters most. And you protect it. This clarity simplifies decisions. You say no more often. Not from restriction. From focus. You stop explaining why you are unavailable. You stop justifying long-term thinking to short-term minds. You know where you are going. Long-term vision stabilizes behavior. Vision removes impatience. It reframes delay as progress. Every day without visible reward becomes a day of invisible construction. Invisible strength accumulates quietly. This is how foundations are built. You plant seeds in silence. Seeds do not demand attention. They do not rush growth. They require consistency. Water. Time. Patience. You trust the process. Trusting the process does not mean blind faith. It means commitment without constant reassurance. You do not need daily confirmation. You need daily effort. Effort compounds whether you feel rewarded or not. This is where many quit. They mistake silence for failure. They mistake delay for denial. They mistake patience for weakness. You do not. You recognize that power is being stored. Stored power is dangerous in the best way. It surprises. It overwhelms. It endures. You are building stored power now. Every time you resist immediate reward, you strengthen self-command. Every time you delay gratification, you reinforce discipline. Every time you choose the long path, you increase leverage. Leverage grows quietly. You stop measuring progress emotionally. You measure it structurally. Are habits forming? Is consistency intact? Is alignment maintained? If yes, you continue. You no longer need excitement to validate effort. You rely on direction. Direction outlasts emotion. You begin to feel the internal shift. You are less tempted by shortcuts, less distracted by trends, less influenced by comparison. Comparison fades when vision sharpens. You are no longer racing others. You are building something specific. Specificity removes impatience. Impatience comes from unclear goals. Clear vision calms urgency. You know what you are building, and you know it takes time. That knowledge steadies you. Waiting tests character. It reveals whether discipline is real or conditional, whether commitment is deep or shallow, whether vision is strong or imagined. You pass this test by staying consistent. Not perfectly, persistently. You understand that boredom is part of mastery. Monotony is part of growth. Repetition is part of excellence. You stop romanticizing progress. Progress is often quiet, repetitive, and unseen. That no longer bothers you. You begin to enjoy the quiet accumulation, the feeling of momentum without noise, the satisfaction of progress without validation, the confidence of knowing you are ahead, even when it looks like you are behind. This is advanced discipline. You delay reward because you trust yourself. Trust is key. You trust that effort will convert. You trust that patience will pay. You trust that alignment produces results. This trust removes anxiety. Anxiety comes from needing proof. You no longer need it. You have evidence in behavior. Behavior never lies. You show up. You do the work. You maintain standards. That is proof enough. You are no longer rushed by external timelines. You operate on internal readiness. Readiness beats speed. Speed without readiness collapses. Readiness with patience lasts. You choose lasting. Building requires sacrifice. You sacrifice ease today to gain strength tomorrow. You sacrifice. See comfort now to gain control later. You sacrifice attention now to gain influence later. These sacrifices are invisible to others. That is why they work. No one interferes with what they cannot see. You build uninterrupted. Quiet accumulation creates disproportionate outcomes. When results arrive, they appear sudden. But they are not sudden. They are delayed. Delayed effort creates sudden breakthroughs. People will ask how it happened. They will say it came out of nowhere. You will know the truth. It was built slowly, patiently, quietly. This knowledge grounds you. You do not need to rush success. You prepare for it. Preparation determines how long success lasts. Short-term wins fade. Long-term builds endure. You are building endurance into success itself. Trust is tested most when progress is invisible. You trust the process even when there is no feedback. You trust your standards even when no one enforces them. You trust your vision even when no one shares it. This solitude strengthens conviction. Conviction stabilizes action. You no longer oscillate between excitement and doubt. You move steadily forward. This steadiness is rare. Rare creates advantage. You begin to notice others burning out, switching paths, starting over. You continue, not because you are special, because you stayed patient. Patience multiplies effort. Effort applied over time beats talent applied briefly. You rely on time as an ally. Time works for those who stay consistent. You give time something to compound. Habits, skills, discipline. Each day adds weight. Quiet accumulation becomes heavy. Heavy outcomes shift reality. But you do not rush that moment. Rushing ruins leverage. You let power mature. Wait. Waiting also teaches humility. You stop expecting reward for effort. You stop feeling entitled to outcomes. You focus on execution. Execution is within your control. Outcomes are not. This focus reduces frustration. Frustration comes from attachment to reward. Detachment frees energy. You detach from immediate payoff. You attach to process. Process orientation is elite. Elite performers think in years, not days. They think in systems, not moments. You think like that now. Your decisions reflect patience. Your pace reflects confidence. Your silence reflects certainty. You do not need to convince anyone. You need to continue. This creates inner peace. Peace does not come from ease. It comes from alignment. You are aligned. Aligned with long-term goals. Aligned with discipline. Aligned with patience. This alignment makes sacrifice sustainable. You no longer feel like you are missing out. You feel like you are investing. Investments grow quietly. The return is delayed. But when it arrives, it is undeniable. You are not building for applause. You are building for impact. Impact takes time. Time rewards those who respect it. You respect time now. You do not waste it. You do not rush it. You use it. Every day is a deposit. Deposits compound. Compounding creates exponential outcomes. Most people underestimate compounding because it is invisible at first. You do not. You trust math over emotion, structure over impulse, patience over urgency. This mindset changes everything. Your stress reduces. Your focus increases. Your confidence stabilizes. You are no longer anxious about progress. You are committed to it. Commitment outlasts motivation. Motivation fluctuates. Commitment remains. You have commitment. Build. You build skills that take time to mature. You build habits that require repetition. You build strength that cannot be rushed. You stop looking for shortcuts. Shortcuts weaken foundations. Foundations matter. Strong foundations allow height. Height without foundation collapses. You are building foundation now. Silently, deliberately. Others may not see it yet. That does not concern you. Visibility is not the goal. Stability is. Stability supports growth. Growth sustained becomes power. This power is calm, measured, controlled. Power that arrives without panic, without ego, without recklessness, because it was delayed. Delayed power is disciplined power. You feel it forming, not as excitement, as certainty. Certainty grows when you know you have invested. You have invested time, effort, sacrifice. Those investments anchor confidence. Confidence without arrogance. Confidence without noise. Confidence that waits. Wait. Waiting does not mean inaction. It means restraint. Restraint keeps you focused. It keeps you strategic. It keeps you patient. You are not waiting for permission. You are waiting for alignment. Alignment ensures readiness. When opportunity arrives, you will not scramble. You will respond. Response is calm. Reaction is chaotic. You prepare to respond. Preparation takes time. Time you are willing to give. You choose long-term over short-term. Depth over speed. Substance over appearance. This choice defines you now. You no longer envy quick wins. You respect lasting ones. Lasting wins require delayed reward. You accept that fully. Acceptance removes internal conflict. No more rushing, no more forcing. Just steady building. Day by day. Quiet accumulation continues. And one day, without warning, momentum shifts. Not because you demanded it, because you earned it. Earning takes time. You gave time. And time gave back. Say it internally. Let it settle. I choose long-term power. Not because it is easier, because it is stronger. And as this power continues to accumulate quietly, the next phase will test how you apply it under pressure. The demands rise again. The margin for error tightens. But you are ready, because you learned how to wait. Chapter 9. Becoming unrecognizable. Growth changes how you move, speak, and decide. Not all at once. Not loudly. But completely. At some point, without announcement, you realize something has shifted. The old patterns no longer pull you the same way. The old reactions feel distant. The old version of you feels unfamiliar. This is not loss. This is refinement. You are becoming unrecognizable. Not to impress. Not to escape. But because alignment changes behavior naturally. You no longer force discipline. It flows. You no longer chase calm. You embody it. The work you have done quietly now begins to shape your presence. This stage is subtle and powerful. Refine. Refinement is removal. You remove excess words, excess emotion, excess explanation. You speak less but with intention. You move less but with direction. You decide faster because standards are clear. This is not restraint from fear. It is restraint from confidence. Confidence does not rush. It does not compete. It does not seek confirmation. You notice how much energy you once spent reacting, explaining, justifying. That energy is now available. Available for execution. Available for focus. Available for precision. Your behavior becomes economical. Every action has purpose. Every decision has weight. This efficiency feels different. Calmer, cleaner, stronger. Old habits fall away without struggle. Not because you fought them, because they no longer fit. You no longer overcommit. You no longer overreact. You no longer overthink. Over is replaced with exact. Exactness feels grounded. You start noticing how you enter rooms. Not physically, energetically. You are steady, unhurried, present. Presence is felt before it is seen. People respond differently to you now, not because you demand respect, because you no longer seek approval. Approval seeking leaks power. You have sealed that leak. Your calm presence creates space. Space for thought, space for others to adjust, space for reality to settle. You do not fill silence. You hold it. Silence holds authority now. Elevate. Elevation is internal first. You elevate standards quietly. You elevate expectations of yourself. You elevate the quality of your effort. Not dramatically. Consistently. You stop tolerating misalignment. Misalignment feels uncomfortable now. Not exciting. Not tempting. Comfort once pulled you backward. Now it feels restrictive. You prefer challenge, not chaos. Challenge sharpens you. Chaos drains you. You choose environments that demand clarity. You choose conversations that matter. You choose actions that compound. This choice happens automatically. You are no longer convincing yourself. You are expressing who you are becoming. Identity leads behavior. Behavior confirms identity. This loop strengthens daily. You are no longer surprised by your own consistency. It feels natural. This is the mark of integration. Integration is when effort becomes expression. You do not try to be disciplined. You act disciplined. You do not try to be calm. You respond calmly. You do not try to be focused. You remove distraction. This simplicity is powerful. Power does not complicate. It clarifies. Your decisions reflect this clarity. Fewer options. Stronger choices. You decide without emotional turbulence. Emotion still exists. It simply no longer drives. This is emotional maturity. You feel fully. And you move deliberately. This balance creates silent confidence. Silent confidence does not perform. It stabilizes. Others feel it. They may not name it, but they sense reliability. Reliability is attractive. Not socially. Structurally. People trust what is stable. You are stable now. Remain calm. Calm is no longer something you seek. It is something you protect. You protect it by choosing restraint, by choosing preparation, by choosing perspective. When pressure arrives, you do not tense. You ground. Grounding is automatic now. Your breath stays steady. Your tone stays measured. Your mind stays clear. This is unrecognizable compared to who you were. The old you reacted quickly, defended often, explained constantly. The new you observes, decides, acts. Action replaces reaction. This shift changes outcomes. Problems feel smaller. Challenges feel manageable. Uncertainty feels navigable. Not because life is easier, because you are stronger. Strength shows in subtle ways. You pause before responding. You choose words carefully. You move with intention. You stop broadcasting plans. You let progress reveal itself. You stop seeking agreement. You trust alignment. Alignment keeps you steady when opinions fluctuate. You notice something else. Criticism loses power. Praise loses control. Both pass through without sticking. This neutrality is freedom. You are no longer emotionally owned by external input. You accept information without absorbing judgment. This creates clarity. Clarity refines behavior further. You refine how you spend time. You refine who has access. You refine where energy goes. Refinement is ruthless but calm. You do not cut impulsively. You adjust deliberately. Each adjustment compounds. The distance between who you were and who you are becoming widens. Others may comment. They may not. That no longer matters. Your focus is internal alignment. Alignment feels like certainty without arrogance. Arrogance needs comparison. Certainty stands alone. You stand alone now. Not isolated. Independent. Independence strengthens decision-making. You are no longer pulled by urgency. You move by priority. Priority creates order. Order creates calm. Calm creates precision. Precision creates results. Results reinforce identity. This loop tightens. You are no longer distracted by becoming. You are becoming by doing. This removes pressure. Pressure once came from proving change. Now change proves itself. You notice fewer internal arguments. The mind is quieter. Quiet does not mean empty. It means aligned. Alignment reduces friction. Friction drains energy. Energy preserved becomes focus. Focus applied becomes progress. Progress sustained becomes transformation. Transformation integrated becomes identity. This is where you are now. Unrecognizable to the old version of you. You think differently. You think in outcomes, not emotions. In structure, not impulse. In process, not excitement. This thinking changes how you plan. Plans are simpler, more realistic, more flexible. Flexibility does not weaken commitment. It strengthens execution. You adapt without abandoning direction. Direction is stable. That stability shows in your presence. People feel grounded around you. Not entertained. Not impressed. Grounded. Grounding creates trust. Trust creates influence. Influence arrives without effort. You are no longer trying to lead. You are leading by being consistent. Consistency is quiet authority. Authority is felt, not declared. You carry it naturally now. This changes how you handle setbacks. Setbacks no longer feel personal. They feel instructional. You adjust and continue. No drama. No delay. This response accelerates growth. You recover faster. You refocus quicker. You move forward cleaner. This efficiency is rare. Rare behavior creates uncommon results. You are no longer chasing results. You are producing them indirectly. Indirect production is sustainable. Sustainable effort creates longevity. Longevity multiplies impact. This is how influence grows quietly. You notice another change. Your standards rise automatically. What once felt acceptable now feels misaligned. You do not judge it. You move away from it. Movement replaces argument. This saves energy. Energy is now invested where it matters, where it compounds, where it aligns with long-term vision. Vision no longer feels distant. It feels active. You are living into it. Living into vision removes impatience. You are not waiting for transformation. You are expressing it daily. This expression is subtle, but undeniable. You see it in your habits, in your boundaries, in your calm under pressure. This calm is not emptiness. It is strength held in reserve. Reserve strength is dangerous. It activates when needed and rests when not. You have learned to rest without quitting. This is advanced discipline. You rest strategically. You recover intentionally. You return ready. This prevents burnout. Burnout comes from misaligned effort. Your effort is aligned. Alignment sustains energy. Energy fuels consistency. Consistency fuels identity. Identity fuels confidence. Confidence without noise. You do not announce progress. You do not highlight effort. You let time speak. Time speaks loudly for those who stay consistent. You stay. Others notice gradually. They may say you changed. You did, but not suddenly. Naturally. Growth removes what no longer serves. This removal feels clean. No resentment, no regret. Just evolution. Evolution is quiet. You have evolved. Your emotional responses are shorter. Your reactions are softer. Your decisions are firmer. This combination creates calm authority. Authority that does not need reinforcement. You reinforce it daily through behavior. Behavior is your language now. Words are secondary. You speak when necessary. You act consistently. This creates alignment between intention and execution. Alignment removes doubt. Doubt fades when behavior matches vision. Vision feels closer. Not because time passed, because you moved. Correctly, movement without noise is powerful. You are moving like that now. Refine again. You refine inputs. You limit unnecessary information. You avoid emotional overload. You protect mental clarity. Clarity sharpens focus. Focus sharpens execution. Execution reinforces confidence. This loop continues. You are no longer scattered. Scattered effort wastes potential. You concentrate. Concentration builds depth. Depth creates mastery. Mastery is calm. Calm mastery is intimidating in the best way, not threatening. Grounding. People feel safe around mastery. They trust it. Trust opens opportunities. Opportunities appear when you are ready. Readiness comes from preparation. You prepared quietly. That preparation is now visible in how you move. You are not rushed by opportunity. You evaluate. Evaluation prevents misalignment. You choose opportunities that match direction. This selectivity preserves momentum. Momentum is no longer forced. It is sustained. You sustain because you refined. Refinement is ongoing. You never finish refining. Growth is continuous, but it is no longer chaotic. It is intentional. Intentional growth feels calm. You are calm, not passive, not disengaged, calm and engaged. This is a powerful state. You can respond quickly without panic. You can wait patiently without anxiety. Both require control. You have it. Remain calm. Calm does not mean slow. It means controlled. Control allows speed when needed. You accelerate without losing precision. This ability sets you apart. Most either rush or hesitate. You decide. Decision-making is cleaner now. Fewer options. Clear priorities. You do not deliberate endlessly. You commit. Commitment reduces mental noise. Noise drains energy. Energy preserved fuels endurance. Endurance carries you forward. Forward movement is steady. Steady movement creates confidence. Confidence does not need validation. You are evolving. This evolution feels grounded. You are no longer chasing identity. You are living it. Identity no longer feels like a goal. It feels like home. This is stability. Stability allows risk. You take calculated risks now, not reckless. Calculated. Calculation protects progress. You grow without self-sabotage. Self-sabotage fades when self-trust grows. You trust yourself. This trust shows in your posture, in your voice, in your silence. Silence now carries meaning. You do not fill space unnecessarily. Space allows others to adjust. Adjustment creates influence. Influence grows quietly. You are becoming someone others notice without knowing why. That is unrecognizable. You no longer need to announce change. Change is evident. You do not need to prove growth. Growth is visible in restraint. You do not need to explain discipline. Discipline is reflected in consistency. This is maturity. Maturity is quiet. You have matured. The old self would not recognize this calm, this clarity, this steadiness. You do, and you respect it. Respect for self deepens. Self-respect anchors confidence. Confidence stabilizes presence. Presence influences outcomes. This chain continues. You are no longer distracted by who you were. You are focused on who you are becoming. Becoming feels natural now. Not forced. Not rushed. Aligned. Refine. Elevate. Remain calm. These are no longer commands. They are habits. Habits define identity. Identity directs behavior. Behavior shapes future. Your future is being shaped quietly. You feel it, not as excitement, as certainty. Certainty settles in, and when certainty settles, urgency fades. You are not late. You are aligned. Aligned people move differently. You move differently now. Unrecognizable. Say it internally. Let it land. I am evolving. Not suddenly. Continuously. And as this evolution stabilizes, the next phase will demand even greater precision under pressure. Less tolerance for error. More focus. You are ready for that. Because you are no longer becoming. You are embodying. Chapter 10. Pressure creates precision. Pressure reveals who you are. Not when things are calm. Not when conditions are ideal. But when demand increases and margin disappears. Pressure does not create weakness. It exposes it. And it does the same for strength. Up to now you have built discipline, endurance, patience, and identity. Now all of it is tested at once. This is not punishment. This is refinement. Pressure is training. Most people misunderstand pressure. They see it as a threat. They try to escape it. They rush to relieve it. You do not. You understand its purpose. Pressure removes excess. Pressure sharpens focus. Pressure reveals what matters. Under pressure, there is no room for waste. No room for distraction. No room for indecision. Only precision survives. Focus. Focus under pressure is different from focus in calm moments. It is narrower, cleaner, more demanding. You stop multitasking. You stop overthinking. You stop chasing unnecessary options. Your attention locks onto what matters now. Pressure forces prioritization. What is essential remains. What is optional falls away. This is clarity earned, not imagined. When pressure rises, most minds scatter. Thoughts race. Emotions spike. Decisions slow. Yours does the opposite. You slow internally. Slowing the mind under pressure is advanced control. You breathe evenly. You ground attention. You bring awareness back to the task. This calm response is not instinct. It is trained. You trained it. Focus tightens. Details become visible. Errors become obvious. Noise becomes irrelevant. You see what needs to be done. Execute. Execution under pressure requires decisiveness. There is no room for hesitation. No time for emotional debate. No benefit in delay. You trust your preparation. Preparation creates confidence. Confidence allows action. Action reduces pressure. Pressure increases when you hesitate. It decreases when you move correctly. You move. Precision thinking activates. You think in steps. In sequence. In structure. You break complexity into execution. One action. Then the next. Then the next. This simplicity prevents overwhelm. Overwhelm is caused by thinking too broadly. Precision is thinking narrowly. You narrow your focus deliberately. Stay exact. Exactness under pressure separates professionals from amateurs. Amateurs rush. Professionals refine. You refine. You remove unnecessary movement. You remove excess words. You remove emotional leakage. Your behavior becomes economical. Every action serves a purpose. Every decision aligns with outcome. This is efficiency under stress. Efficiency creates speed without chaos. Others mistake speed for rushing. You know the difference. Rushing creates errors. Precision eliminates them. You value accuracy over urgency. Accuracy compounds. Errors cost time. Precision saves it. You understand this now. Pressure exposes habits. Old habits try to surface. impatience, reactivity, doubt. You notice them. You do not follow them. Noticing without obeying is mastery. Pressure also exposes preparation. Where preparation is strong, confidence holds. Where preparation is weak, panic appears. You see this clearly. Instead of panicking, you adjust. Adjustment is not retreat. It is intelligence. You adapt without losing control. Adaptation requires presence. You stay present. Present attention prevents mistakes. Mistakes under pressure are expensive. You protect against them through focus. The environment may be loud. The stakes may be high. The timeline may be tight. Your inner state remains steady. Steadiness is rare under pressure. Rare skills create advantage. Pressure does not intimidate you anymore. It organizes you. It organizes your thinking. It organizes your behavior. It organizes your priorities. You become sharper. Mental sharpness is the ability to think clearly while stressed. Clear thinking under stress is power. You access it now. You have removed emotional excess. You have trained endurance. You have practiced patience. All of it converges here. Pressure becomes a signal to simplify, a signal to execute, a signal to stay exact. You no longer complain internally. Complaining wastes time. You do not dramatize difficulty. Drama drains focus. You stay neutral. Neutrality under pressure keeps energy stable. Energy stability supports execution. Execution builds momentum. Momentum reduces pressure. This cycle reinforces itself. Now intensity rises. This is the transformation peak. Short commands. Rapid delivery. Focus. Breathe. Execute. Do not rush. Do not freeze. Stay exact. Eyes forward. Mind clear. Hands steady. Pressure increases. This is where many break. They speed up unnecessarily. They skip steps. They sacrifice accuracy for relief. You do not. You slow slightly. Slowing down under pressure feels counterintuitive. But it works. It restores control. Control allows precision. Precision creates progress. You move cleanly. Every movement is deliberate. Every word measured. Every decision ground. This level of control feels powerful. Not aggressive. Composed. Composure under pressure is intimidating. Not because it threatens. Because it signals mastery. Others feel it. They sense stability. Stability under pressure becomes leadership. People look to the one who is calm, not the one who is loud. You are calm. Pressure tests mental sharpness continuously. Your mind stays alert without panic. Alertness is different from anxiety. Anxiety scatters. Alertness focuses. You are alert. You scan environment. You assess variables. You respond accurately. Response beats reaction. Reaction is automatic. Response is chosen. Choice preserves power. You choose precision. Eliminating errors becomes priority. You double-check essentials. You verify assumptions. You confirm alignment. This does not slow you down. It prevents rework. Rework drains time and energy. Precision avoids rework. This efficiency compounds under pressure. Others struggle. You progress. Not dramatically. Methodically. Pressure compresses time. You adapt by compressing movement. Less motion. More effect. This economy of action is advanced skill. It comes only after discipline. You have it now. Pressure also tests identity. Who are you when stakes rise? Who are you when eyes are on you? Who are you when outcome matters? You remain yourself. The same disciplined, calm, focused individual. Consistency under pressure builds trust. Trust builds authority. Authority stabilizes environments. You become the anchor. Not because you declare it, because you behave like it. Pressure brings unpredictability. Unexpected variables appear. Plans shift. Obstacles surface. You adjust without panic. Adjustment is easier when ego is removed. You are not attached to being right. You are attached to being effective. Effectiveness adapts. You drop what no longer works. You implement what does. No emotional attachment. No internal argument. This flexibility under pressure increases success. Rigid minds break. Flexible minds refine. You refine. Pressure also reveals preparation gaps. You note them. Not with shame. With awareness. Awareness leads to improvement. Pressure becomes feedback. Feedback is valuable. You accept it. Instead of resisting pressure, you extract information from it. Information improves systems. Systems reduce future pressure. This long-term thinking stabilizes you further. You are not just surviving pressure. You are learning from it. Learning accelerates growth. Growth under pressure is accelerated. Because stakes force attention. Attention improves retention. Retention improves skill. Skill increases confidence. Confidence stabilizes execution. This loop strengthens rapidly. Pressure no longer feels like threat. It feels like sharpening. A blade becomes sharper under friction. You are being sharpened. The sharper you become, the less effort execution requires. Effort reduces. Effectiveness increases. This is mastery forming. Mastery is calm under demand. You begin to notice that situations that once felt overwhelming now feel manageable. Not because they are smaller, because you are sharper. Sharpness is not intensity. It is clarity. Clarity reduces wasted effort. Wasted effort creates fatigue. Precision conserves energy. You end pressure situations less drained than others. This endurance is strategic. You recover faster. You refocus quicker. You return ready. This resilience compounds. Pressure becomes something you welcome. Not emotionally. Functionally. You know it improves you. Pressure reveals flaws you can fix. Pressure reveals strengths you can rely on. Without pressure, these remain hidden. You value exposure. Exposure trains reality. Reality is where leaders operate. You are operating in reality now. No illusions. No fantasies. Just execution. Execution under pressure builds confidence that cannot be shaken. Shallow confidence collapses when challenged. Earned confidence holds. You have earned it. Now intensity rises again. Another rapid sequence. Focus. Lock in. Execute. No distraction. No hesitation. Stay exact. You feel the pressure peak. This is the moment. This moment defines identity. Do you scatter or simplify? Do you rush or refine? Do you panic or focus? You focus. The mind clears. Time slows. Not literally. Perceptually. This happens when attention is fully present. You experience it. Movements feel smooth. Decisions feel clean. Execution feels automatic. This is flow under pressure. Flow is not emotional excitement. It is alignment of skill and demand. You are aligned. Alignment produces confidence. Confidence produces authority. Authority stabilizes outcome. You pass through the peak. Pressure releases slightly. You feel it. Not relief from escape. Relief from precision. You handled it correctly. This reinforces trust. Trust in preparation. Trust in discipline. Trust in self-command. This trust makes future pressure less intimidating. You know you can handle it. This knowledge is powerful. Pressure no longer defines you. Why? Define response to pressure. This distinction matters. One creates stress. The other creates strength. You choose strength. You also notice how others respond under pressure. Some become frantic. Some withdraw. Some deflect responsibility. You do not judge. You simply observe. Observation without judgment keeps you clear. Clear minds perform better. Performance under pressure builds reputation. Reputation is not built by talking. It is built by handling moments. You handle moments. Silently. Precisely. This reputation grows naturally. People begin to rely on you. Not because you asked. Because you deliver. Delivery under pressure is rare. Rare skills create value. Value attracts opportunity. Opportunity arrives with pressure attached. You are ready. Pressure and opportunity always travel together. Those who avoid pressure avoid opportunity. You do not avoid. You prepare. Preparation removes fear. Fear comes from uncertainty. You reduce uncertainty through structure. Structure holds under stress. You have built structure. This chapter of your development locks something in. You are no longer shaken by intensity. Intensity sharpens you. You become efficient under demand. You eliminate unnecessary emotion. You eliminate unnecessary thought. You eliminate unnecessary movement. This elimination creates precision. Precision creates confidence. Confidence stabilizes presence. Presence commands attention without effort. You command without trying. This is authority. Authority earned through pressure. You remain exact. Exactness becomes habit. Habit becomes identity. Identity shapes behavior automatically. You do not need reminders. You operate from standard. Standard holds under pressure. This is leadership at high demand. You are not louder. You are clearer. Clarity outperforms volume. You remain calm while others rush. This calm is not emptiness. It is readiness. Readiness allows speed when required. You accelerate without losing accuracy. This ability sets you apart. Most people either freeze or rush. You move deliberately. Deliberate movement under pressure creates trust. Trust creates influence. Influence expands impact. Impact multiplies effort. This is how precision scales. You are scaling internally now. The internal systems you built are proving reliable. Reliability is rare. Rare qualities attract responsibility. You accept responsibility without fear. Fear fades when capability is proven. You have proven capability. Not through words. Through action. Pressure provided the test. You passed it. This does not inflate ego. It deepens humility. You respect the process more. You respect preparation. You respect discipline. You respect consistency. Respect keeps you sharp. Arrogance dulls. You avoid arrogance. You stay exact. Pressure never stops coming. Life does not become easier. You become more precise. This is the trade. Precision makes difficulty manageable. You accept that trade fully. You do not seek ease. You seek mastery. Mastery is calm under pressure. You are approaching mastery. Not finished, but formed. Formed enough to handle what comes next. You do not fear the next challenge. You prepare for it. Preparation is your advantage. You move forward sharpened. Sharper focus. Cleaner execution. Stronger composure. Say it internally. Anchor it. I am unshaken. Not because pressure is absent, because you are precise. And as pressure continues to rise with greater responsibility, the next phase will demand endurance at an even higher level. Longer stretches, fewer breaks, but you are ready, because pressure has already done its work. Chapter 11, Becoming the One Who Finishes. Finishers win. Dreamers repeat. This is where everything tightens. Not at the beginning. Not in excitement. Here, the final stretch. This is where intentions fade and identity decides. Many people start strong. Few finish. Not because finishing is impossible. Because finishing demands something most never build. Endurance as identity. Up to now, you have trained discipline. You have mastered patience. You have sharpened precision under pressure. Now those qualities are no longer skills. They become who you are. Completion is no longer an action. It is a standard. You are no longer someone who tries. You are someone who finishes. This difference defines outcomes. The mind resists this stage. Not loudly, quietly. It whispers subtle messages. You've done enough. Slow down. Ease off now. This is not weakness. This is final resistance. Every meaningful transformation meets resistance at the end. Not because you are failing, because the old limits are dissolving. This is where many retreat. They confuse fatigue with danger. They mistake discomfort for a signal to stop. They step back just before completion. You do not. You recognize the moment. The work feels heavier now. Progress feels slower. The distance feels longer. This is normal. Endurance is tested most near the end. This is where endurance becomes identity. You do not nego. At this phase. Negotiation creates exit routes. Exit routes weaken commitment. You remove exits. No retreat mentality forms here. Not aggressive. Absolute. You are not forcing yourself forward. You are refusing to step back. This refusal changes posture. Your body adjusts. Your breathing steadies. Your focus narrows. You stop thinking about how far you've come. You stop thinking about how far remains. You think about the next action. Just the next action. This simplifies everything. Complexity drains energy. Simplicity preserves it. Finish strong. Finishing strong does not mean rushing. It means maintaining standards until the end. Many finish fast. Few finish clean. You finish clean. Chapter 12, The Person You Are Now. This is no longer effort. This is who you are. There is a difference between becoming and being. Becoming requires energy. Being requires alignment. You have crossed that line. What once demanded focus now feels natural. What once required discipline now feels automatic. What once felt difficult now feels normal. This is the final shift. not an explosion, a settling. You are no longer chasing strength. You are carrying it. Sustained inner power is quiet. It does not surge and crash. It does not depend on mood. It does not need reinforcement. It holds. You feel it now. Not as excitement, as stability. Stability that remains regardless of circumstance. This stability is earned. It came from repetition, from restraint, from endurance. It came from finishing when quitting was easier, from waiting when rushing was tempting, from staying calm when pressure rose. All of that integrated. And integration changes identity. You no longer ask, "Can I do this?" You ask, "What is required?" That question simplifies everything. You move without hesitation because you trust yourself. Trust is the foundation of leadership. Not trust from others. Trust in yourself. Long-term self-trust is rare. Most people doubt themselves under pressure. They hesitate. They second-guess. They look outward. You look inward. And what you find is steady. You trust your judgment. You trust your discipline. You trust your ability to respond. This trust is not blind. It is evidence-based. You have proven yourself repeatedly. Proof replaces doubt. Doubt fades. In its place, certainty settles. Certainty does not shout. It grounds. You are grounded now. Presence without noise becomes your signature. You enter situations without urgency. You speak without excess. You move without display. Nothing about you is rushed. Rushed behavior signals insecurity. You do not signal. You simply are. This presence changes dynamics. People feel calmer around you. Decisions become clearer. Conversations slow. You are the stabilizing force. Not because you try to be. Because you are aligned. Alignment creates authority. Authority without noise is powerful. You do not need to announce direction. You embody it. Others adjust. Not through fear. Through trust. Trust grows naturally when behavior is consistent. Consistency has become effortless for you. Effortlessness does not mean ease. It means integration. Integrated behavior does not drain energy. You no longer burn energy fighting yourself. Internal conflict has dissolved. There is no tug-of-war inside. Your actions match your standards. That alignment creates peace. Peace is not absence of challenge. It is absence of internal resistance. You face challenges calmly now. Calm does not mean passive. It means prepared. Prepared minds do not panic. They assess. They decide. They act. This pattern defines you. Internal command is active. You do not drift. You direct. Direction is clear. Clear direction reduces friction. Friction wastes energy. Energy preserved becomes focus. Focus applied becomes execution. Execution becomes reliable. Reliability builds influence. Influence follows presence. Presence is what you carry now. You no longer chase respect. Respect emerges. Not because of words. Because of consistency. People trust what does not fluctuate. You do not fluctuate. Your mood no longer dictates behavior. Your environment no longer controls response. Your emotions no longer override commitment. Emotion still exists. It simply no longer governs. Governance belongs to identity. Identity now leads. This leadership is silent. Silent leadership does not compete. It does not persuade aggressively. It does not dominate. It stabilizes. Stability creates gravity. People move toward it naturally. You notice this shift, not with pride, with awareness. Awareness keeps you grounded. Grounded leaders last. You are no longer proving discipline. You are expressing it. Expression feels different. No strain. No forcing. Just execution. Execution has become calm. Calm execution is mastery. Mastery is not perfection. It is consistency under varied conditions. You perform steadily. Steady performance builds long-term power. Power that does not spike. Power that endures. This endurance is now part of you. You do not fear long roads. You do not fear delayed outcomes. You do not fear pressure. Fear has lost leverage. Not because you eliminated it, because you outgrew it. Fear thrives in uncertainty. You removed uncertainty through preparation and follow-through. Preparation built capability. Follow-through built trust. Trust built confidence. Confidence stabilized presence. Presence expanded influence. This chain is complete. You now move through life differently. You are less reactive, less distracted, less fragmented. You are whole. Wholeness creates clarity. Clarity simplifies decision-making. Decisions are cleaner. You decide once and act fully. No second guessing. No internal debate. This decisive saves energy. Energy redirected builds momentum. Momentum is steady, not explosive. Sustained. Sustained momentum reshapes trajectory. Your trajectory has changed, not because of one decision, because of repeated alignment. Alignment compounds. You feel it when you wake up. Not urgency. Readiness. Readiness is calm. You are ready for what comes. Not because you know the future, because you trust your response. Response confidence is real confidence. It does not depend on prediction. It depends on capability. You have capability. You built it quietly. That quiet work now supports you everywhere. Your silence carries weight. When you speak, it matters. When you pause, others notice. This is not manipulation. It is presence. Presence is felt. You feel it within yourself first. Your inner state is steady. Even in uncertainty, you remain composed. Composure is not emotional suppression. It is emotional mastery. You feel fully without being controlled. This mastery allows empathy without loss of authority. You understand others without absorbing their chaos. This balance is leadership. Leadership that does not exhaust you. Because it comes from alignment, not effort. You are no longer trying to be strong. You are strong. Strength no longer needs reinforcement. It holds. This holding creates space. Space for better thinking. Space for better decisions. Space for long-term vision. Vision feels closer now. Not because it arrived, because you are aligned with it. Alignment shortens distance. You are living into the future you once imagined. Living into does not feel dramatic. It feels normal. This normality is important. When growth feels normal, it lasts. You no longer romanticize struggle. You respect consistency. Consistency is your language now. You speak through behavior. Behavior does not lie. Your behavior reflects calm authority. Authority is not asserted. It is recognized. Others recognize it. They may not articulate it, but they feel it. You do not seek followers. Responsibility finds you. This is how leadership evolves. Not through ambition, through reliability. Reliability is your signature. You are reliable to yourself. That reliability extends outward naturally. You handle commitments with care. You finish what you start. You maintain standards. Standards are no longer rigid rules. They are expressions of identity. Identity drives behavior automatically. Automatic behavior frees attention. Attention is now available for higher-level thinking. You think in systems, in patterns, in outcomes. You no longer get lost in emotion. Emotion informs. It does not direct. This clarity creates confidence without arrogance. Arrogance seeks validation. You do not. You are settled. Settled does not mean stagnant. It means stable. Stability supports growth. Growth continues quietly. You are still refining, still improving, still learning. But now learning is intentional. You seek information selectively. You apply it deliberately. Deliberate learning compounds. Compounding creates depth. Depth creates mastery. Mastery is calm. You carry calm everywhere. Even in conflict, you remain composed. You do not escalate unnecessarily. You de-escalate naturally. This control protects outcomes. You no longer waste energy on unnecessary battles. You choose engagement carefully. This selectivity preserves strength. Strength preserved is strength available. Available strength increases confidence. Confidence anchors presence. Presence leads. This cycle is self-sustaining. You have built something permanent. Not motivation. Not momentum. Identity. Identity does not expire. It does not depend on conditions. It travels with you. Wherever you go. Whatever changes. You remain. This permanence changes how you view challenges. Challenges are no longer threats. They are environments. You operate within environments. You adapt without losing self-command. Adaptation does not destabilize you. You adjust tactics, not principles. Principles remain fixed. Fixed principles anchor behavior. Anchored behavior withstands pressure. You are unshaken. Not because life is gentle. Because you are stable. This stability is the final transformation. Not louder. Deeper. You feel it as certainty. Certainty does not rush. It stands. Stand firm. Firmness is not stubbornness. It is clarity held under pressure. You are clear about who you are. Clear about what you do. Clear about what you tolerate. This clarity removes hesitation. Hesitation wastes time. Time is now used intentionally. You do not fill time. You invest it. Investment compounds. You are patient without being passive. Patience is active now. You wait strategically. You act decisively. This balance is rare. Rare balance creates exceptional outcomes. You do not chase exceptionalism. It follows alignment. Alignment is your foundation. You built it layer by layer. Silently. That silence protected your growth. Now it protects your authority. Authority is no longer something you seek. It is something why. Oh, carry. You carry it lightly. No heaviness. No ego. Just command. Internal command directs action effortlessly. You no longer need reminders. You know what needs to be done. You do it. This simplicity is powerful. Power does not complicate. It clarifies. You are clear. Focus. Focus is effortless when distractions are removed. You removed them. You are no longer pulled in multiple directions. Your direction is set. This reduces stress. Stress comes from misalignment. Alignment creates calm. Calm enhances focus. Focused effort produces results. Results reinforce trust. Trust stabilizes identity. This loop continues. You are no longer impressed by intensity. You value sustainability. Sustainability allows long-term impact. Impact matters more than attention. You aim for impact. Impact requires patience, precision, presence. You have all three. This combination is rare. Rare qualities are noticed. Not immediately. Inevitably. You do not wait for recognition. Recognition arrives when consistency accumulates. Accumulation takes time. You respect time now. You work with it. Time works for you. You are no longer anxious about outcomes. You are confident in process. Process orientation frees the mind. Free minds perform better. You perform better. This performance is steady. No spikes. No crashes. Just consistency. Consistency builds reputation. Reputation opens doors. Doors open when you are ready. You are ready. Readiness is not excitement. It is calm capability. You have it. You stand differently now. Not physically. Internally. You stand firm in decisions. Firm in standards. Firm in direction. Firmness does not require rigidity. You remain adaptable. Adaptability within structure is strength. You have structure. Structure guides adaptation. You adapt without losing yourself. This is maturity. Maturity is leadership. Leadership that does not need a title. You lead through presence. Presence shapes environment. Environment influences outcomes. You influence outcomes quietly. Quiet influence lasts. Loud influence fades. You last. Longevity matters. You are building something that endures. Endurance was trained earlier. Now it is embodied. Embodiment means you do not need to try. You simply are. This is the person you are now. Not the person you hope to be. Not the person you pretend to be. The person you have built. Built through discipline. Through patience. Through endurance. Built in silence. This silence still surrounds you. Not as isolation. As strength. You carry silence with confidence. Silence that speaks through action. Action that aligns with standards. Standards that reflect identity. Identity that is stable. This stability is your advantage. You do not need to rush the future. You are already prepared for it. Preparation reduces fear. Fear no longer directs you. You direct yourself. Lead. Leadership now feels natural. You do not perform leadership. You express it. Expression is effortless. Effortless does not mean lazy. It means aligned. Alignment reduces waste. You waste nothing now. Not time. Not energy. Not attention. Everything is used intentionally. Intentional living feels grounded. Grounded people are trusted. Trusted people lead. You lead. Not because you demand it. Because you are consistent. Consistency is the final proof. You have proven yourself to yourself. This proof is internal. Internal proof cannot be taken. External validation can disappear. Internal certainty remains. You have certainty. Certainty does not argue. It stands. Stand firm. You are firm. Focus. Your focus is clear. Lead. You lead yourself fully. And by leading yourself, you lead naturally. No noise. No performance. Just presence. This is the final identity lock-in. There is no going back. Not because you forbid it. Because it no longer fits. The old self cannot survive here. This environment requires stability. You are stable. This stability supports growth. Growth continues. Quietly. Consistently. Powerfully. Say it internally. Let it rise without force. I rise. Not above others. Above old limits. Not loudly. Firmly. This is who you are now. And this identity carries forward. Into every challenge. Every responsibility. Every future version of you. You are ready. You are steady. You rise. And you remain. Final conclusion. You did not chase motivation. You built discipline. You did not announce growth. You embodied it. What you carry now cannot be taken from you, because it was built quietly, patiently, deliberately. This strength was formed when no one was watching, when no one was applauding, when nothing felt urgent. You stayed, you chose alignment, you finished. You no longer react, you respond. You no longer wait for confidence, you move from certainty. You no longer search for direction, you create it. This is not a phase, this is not temporary. This is who you are now. From this point forward, your presence speaks before your words. Your calm steadies situations. Your discipline shapes outcomes. You do not rush, You do not hesitate, you decide. Imagine who you become from here. Imagine the calm strength in your posture, the steady focus in your thinking, the unshakable presence you carry into every room. Challenges no longer threaten you. Pressure no longer shakes you. Uncertainty no longer stops you. You do not need permission to lead. You do not need applause to continue. You do not need validation to stay committed. You trust yourself. That trust is earned. And it remains. Stand up. Not aggressively. Firmly. Focus. Not narrowly. Clearly. You rise now. Not suddenly. Inevitably. Carry this forward. Into work. Into responsibility. Into moments when others hesitate. You will not explain yourself. You will not announce yourself. You will move with quiet authority. This journey does not end here. It stabilizes here. Growth continues. Discipline deepens. Leadership expands. When doubt appears, you remain steady. When effort feels heavy, you continue. When the path narrows, you stay exact. This is your standard now. This is your identity. This is your life. I am ready. I rise. I decide who I become. Now, you made it to the end. That already says something about you. Most people stop early. You stayed. If this audiobook challenged you, if it sharpened your focus, if it reminded you of who you're becoming, then don't let this be a one-time moment. This channel exists for people who choose growth, discipline over comfort, clarity over noise, progress over excuses. If you want more audiobooks like this, more mindset training, more leadership, more inner strength, subscribe, like this video so it reaches the people who need it, and share it with someone who's ready to rise but hasn't found the words yet. Stay consistent, protect your mind, and keep moving forward. This is only the beginning.